One Zambia, one nation. A warm welcome to the ZNBC TV1 main news. Top stories in the news. Government has banned local and international trips for permanent secretaries and directors for 90 days. President Edgar Lungu has left for the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe says government is yet to decide on whether sales tax should be charged on fuel or energy in general. And the 2019 pool season is set to kick off on June 8, 2019. With the news in detail, my name is Chiwanza Nachalwe, and on sign language we have Isabel Banda. Government has banned local and international trips for permanent secretaries and directors for 90 days. Acting Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, says he has noted that several permanent secretaries and directors are never at their stations, hence their failure to implement cabinet decisions. Mr. Kangwa says he wants to allow the permanent secretaries and directors to reflect on their conduct. He says, according to investigations, some permanent secretaries were out of the station for about 3 months, and he has wondered how they were going to serve the people. Mr. Kangwa has told ZNBC News in a statement that those who will not obey the directive will face disciplinary action. He has also urged the permanent secretaries to implement the austerity measures announced by government. Mr. Kangwa said controlling officers have a duty to serve the 17 million Zambians, hence the need to safeguard public funds. He said the measures taken are aimed at restoring the performance of the economy. President Edgar Lungu has left for the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, to attend the funeral procession for Etienne Tshisekedi, late father to President Felix Tshisekedi. Etienne Tshisekedi died 2 years ago in Brussels, Belgium. The late opposition leader served as Prime Minister during Mobutu Sese Seko's administration on 3 occasions. He will be put to rest on Saturday, June 1st, 2019, at Insele Barrio Place, which is 30 kilometers away from Kinshasa City. President Lungu has traveled to DRC on the invitation of his counterpart Felix Tshisekedi. He is among other 5 heads of state and government from Rwanda, South Africa, Togo, Angola, and Uganda who will pay their last respects. The head of state is accompanied by his political advisor Kaiser Zulu and press aide Amos Chanda. He is expected back in the country tomorrow. Meanwhile, President Lungu has congratulated Malawian President Peter Mutharika on his recent re-election as president. President Lungu says Dr. Mutharika's re-election shows the levels of confidence that the Malawian people have in him. He has further congratulated Malawians for remaining peaceful during the campaign period and after the polls were conducted. President Lungu said this in a message delivered to Dr. Mutharika by Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo, who was accompanied by former Foreign Affairs Minister Kalombo Mwansa. And Foreign Affairs Minister Joe Malanji says President Lungu has been invited to attend the funeral ceremony of the late Etienne Tshisekedi in his capacity as the current chairperson of the Southern Africa Development Community SADC organ on peace, defense and security. Zanis has more in this report.
May 30th, 2019 was yesterday declared a public holiday in Kinshasa as a number of Congolese flocked to the Matthias Stadium, a venue for the funeral ceremony, where hundreds are expected to pay their last respects. Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo share a lot in common. The two remain committed partners in fostering their citizenry's socio-economic well-being for a better future. The cooperation between the two also continues to register in many respects. Joseph Malanji is Zambia's Minister of Foreign Affairs.
The President is among the 6 heads of state that have been invited to come and attend this ceremony. As you may have seen, when you pass around Kinshasa, there are billboards indicating Etienne Sekedi wa Mulumba, père de la démocratie congolaise. The late Sekedi was one of the pioneers. The legacy, he's leaving a rich legacy behind.
And President Edgar Lungu is among other invited foreign heads of state and government who is expected in Kinshasa today. Zanis in Kinshasa, the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe says government is yet to decide on whether sales tax should be charged on fuel or energy in general. Mrs. Mwanakatwe says government is still assessing the impact of the sales tax on energy because it is a strategic sector. Joshua Jerry reports that she was responding to a question from a Kasama business person who wanted to know if sales tax will be charged on fuel after July 1st, 2019.
That is implemented will perform well.
Question after question, businessmen and women in Northern Province raised their fears, concerns, and even praise over the newly introduced sales tax. One of the businessmen asked Finance Minister if government is considering slapping sales tax on fuel.
This is a very important sector for us. It's a sector that we want to grow, and as such, we have not decided on a sales tax on fuel as yet. So right now, as I speak, there's no VAT on fuel, and we are still, thinking about whether we're going to bring sales tax on energy.
Another businessman wondered how compliance will be managed when sales tax is introduced, considering the history with value-added tax. Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe acknowledged that compliance under value-added tax was poor, with only 16,000 companies out of the 800,000 that were VAT registered being compliant.
Look at how many registered VAT companies that we have. It's 800,000. If you ask me how many of those are actually paying their VAT, it's 16,000. Just look at that gap. So even if we went to 200,000, certainly would get much broader in terms of tax base.
And responding to concerns that the tourism industry has 29 taxes and levies, Mrs. Mwanakatwe said government will consider cutting down on some of the taxes tour operators pay. Meanwhile, Northern Province Minister Brian Mundubile announced that plans are underway to open a one-stop border post at Zombe border in Mbala.
Zombe border post is operationalized. The time taken to clear goods will be reduced for both the traders and the two revenue authorities, being the Zambian and Tanzanian. This will in turn reduce trade costs.
The Finance Minister is on a tour of Luapula, Northern and Muchinga provinces to raise awareness and get submissions on sales tax, which comes into effect on July 1, 2019. Joshua Jerry, ZNBC News, Kasama.
A mining expert, Matthias Mpande, says Konkola Copper Mines KCM still has great potential to immensely support the economic development of the country if well managed. Dr. Mpande, who is also a chief, has advised government to constitute a team of experts to analyze the next investor to take over the affairs of the mine. Speaking to ZNBC News in a telephone interview, Chief Mpande said KCM has been mismanaged from the word go by the company company that took over since privatization. And Lusaka economist Shibin Mwemba says government should ensure KCM continues with its operations while the future of the mine is being sorted out. And the Mine Suppliers and Contractors Association of Zambia says the $25 million Konkola Copper Mines KCM owes its members will be liquidated in less than 4 weeks. Association President Augustine Wanga says this was disclosed during a meeting held with the provisional liquidator for KCM in Lusaka. He told ZNBC News in Kitwe that KCM owes its various vendors over $260 million United States dollars, and local vendors are being owed $25 million United States dollars. And PF Copperbelt Province Chairperson Nathan Chanda says President Lungu's actions to sustain operations of mines is commendable.
KCM is owing to all its vendors is close to $260 million. Out of that, the local debt just for the local companies is spanning up to $25 million. Going forward, we are very optimistic that the government will be able to engage in serious investor who should come and change the face of the mine. And the mine is a very potential mine. It's got a lot of ore reserves and a lifespan of up to 80 years, so it's got a lot of potential.
Beyond the Copperbelt Province, Your Excellency want to stand with you and will not tolerate and allow investors who come here in the province to come and arm twist the government, because investors have come here so that we can have a win-win situation. So we stand with you, our Republican President, and we stand with the government so that our people of Copperbelt Province can benefit from the God-given resource, and this resource is copper.
Justice Minister Given Luwinda says he will soon be presenting to Cabinet the resolutions adopted at the National Dialogue Forum NDF. Mr. Luwinda says the resolutions will thereafter be presented to Parliament for debate. He also says before the bills are presented to Parliament, they will be gazetted to enable the public read for a period of 30 days.
After the Constitution Amendment Bill has been published, during the 30 days, citizens are at liberty to comment on the content of the Constitution Amendment Bill. When all the bills, the 3 bills, are presented to Parliament, Honourable Speaker shall appoint committees of Parliament to interrogate the bills, and members of the public are at liberty to go and make their views known to committees of Parliament. So those who have views, don't just exhaust them using anthills, talking and talking where it doesn't matter. As you're well aware, your government, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu's government, has handled this matter with a lot of transparency.
Attorney General Likando Kalaluka has called on criminal investigators and prosecutors to understand the latest trends in techniques for conducting financial crimes such as money laundering and terrorist financing. Mr. Kalaluka notes that trust, shell companies and other corporate vehicles are being used to hide the identity of criminals and nature of activities carried out. The Attorney General, who is also chairperson of the Anti-Money Laundering Authority, said this in Lusaka today during the launch of the 5th Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing 2018 Trends Report of the Financial Intelligence Center. And acting chairperson of the Financial Intelligence Center Board, John Kasanga, has called on everyone to safeguard the country's scarce national resources from activities that disrupt the smooth functioning of the financial systems. Meanwhile, Bank of Zambia Deputy Governor Operations Walia Ngandu said money laundering and terrorist financing activities are riding on the rapid innovations in the financial information, communication and technology.
We note that trusts, shell companies
and other corporate vehicles are being used to hide the identity of the criminals, as well as the true nature of the activities that are being carried out. This report, being launched today, has salient information which policymakers, the private sector, civil society, investigators, prosecutors, and the public at large can use in the formulation of policies and effective mechanisms to fight financial crimes.
Fighting money laundering, therefore, calls for a continued coordinated approach among all of the various stakeholders through an appropriate and robust framework. While Zambia has in place appropriate legal, regulatory, institutional, and operational frameworks to combat money laundering, a lot more still needs to be done in order to protect our economy and the financial system from abuse by criminals.
On behalf of the board, I would like to thank all our stakeholders and cooperating partners for the continuous and steadfast support that you have continued to provide the FIC throughout the year. And as a board, we believe that we've set a very high bar of how a public institution should be run, and we hopefully believe that we've left something of lasting value behind.
You're watching the main news on ZNBC TV1. We take our first commercial break. The news will be right back. Do stay with us. We continue with the news. Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Dennis Wanchinga has launched the Water Resource Management Authority Water Users Association Handbook. The handbook is meant to be a reference document for water users and water users associations management committees in the country. Dr. Wanchinga launched the handbook at the validation meeting for water resource management at Protea Hotel in Livingston today.
To enhance professionalism in the way boreholes are drilled, we want to enhance quality and to reduce cheating in the way boreholes are drilled, so that people are protected. But unfortunately, you know, other people who choose to be detractors, they have taken this negatively. That government has introduced new taxes on water, but when it's not, and they know in the heart of their hearts that it's not true, because the 250 kwacha which you pay to WAMA to register a borehole is a one-off payment in the life of that borehole.
Southern Province Minister Edify Hamkale has advised human resource practitioners not to disregard labor laws. Dr. Hamkale says government expects the human resource practitioners in the country to appreciate and correctly interpret labor laws in line with the new Employment Code Act of 2019. He has also urged human resource practitioners to offer sound advice to employers according to the Employment Act. Dr. Hamkale said this when he officially opened the Zambia Institute of Human Resource Management annual general meeting in Livingston today. And Zambia Institute of Human Resource Management President Moka Silumbu has pledged the Institute's support to the growth of the economy through compliance of labor laws.
Wish of Patriotic Front PF government under the able leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwa, to work closely with your institute, not only in the challenging task of human resource development in our country, but also in ensuring that quality and standards are not compromised. To this end, I would urge all human resource practitioners never to disregard the labor laws.
We as the Institute will continue to strive to ensure that we prove through our strategic partners properly qualified and skilled human resource to support the engine of our national economy. The necessary competences, whether technical or behaviorals, will have to be enhanced and developed in our members. so that we support our economy.
The Presidential Empowerment Initiative Fund, PEIF, has empowered Cry for an Orphan Home with egg incubator and sewing machines worth about 50,000 kwacha. Speaking during the handover event, PEIF National Coordinator Clement Tembo said it makes President Edgar Lungu happy to see women engage in entrepreneurship rather than waiting for government jobs. Mr. Tembo also urged the women to start creative businesses that will help them realize huge profits to sustain their families. He also pledged to offer support to those that have business strategies but lack financial support. And a Cry for an Orphan Home director, Teddy Kalamanshi, said he will do all he can to see women thrive.
We gain education in different ways. Today you've just added some extra skills for yourselves, and we hope that you're going to utilize this skill when you get out there in society. I will not leave you behind. So I didn't, but we've just bought a few. I think the other machines will still come through. Yeah. We bought you a few machines for your organization so that we support you. We will not end here. We are still empowering your organization with many other, equipments like incubators, so that at least we support you, because you've been doing this project for a long time.
This is something that we are fighting for, so that one day we are going to have 50-50 representation of women in leadership. He is one of the leaders also dedicated to help the women. That's why every time I make sure I call him to attend, so that together we are going to fight the battle.
This is ZNBC News. We go for another break. The news will continue. Keep watching.
Well, thanks for joining us on Business News. To present it, my name is Ellen Hamboa. On the segment, government has encouraged the American Chamber of Commerce in Zambia to become a strong business community, which will create an ever-improving investment environment for both local and foreigners operating in Zambia. Join us after the break. Business news in detail. Now, government has encouraged the American Chamber of Commerce in Zambia to become a stronger business community, which will create an ever-improving investment environment for both local and foreign firms operating in Zambia. Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Christopher Aluma says the private sector is the engine of economic growth and a vital development partner in job and wealth creation. Mr. Aluma said this during the American Chamber of Commerce General Meeting reception at the U.S. Embassy in Lusaka. And U.S. Deputy Ambassador to Zambia, Christopher Kraft, has asked the Zambian government to adequately insulate the private sector because the consistently changing regulatory environment is worrying the business community. Meanwhile, American Chamber of Commerce in Zambia President Fernand Zouma called on for more business owners to join the chamber to create a business environment needed for the Zambian economy.
Chips have been recognized as one way to effectively deliver sustainable and articulated solutions to the many development challenges faced by our country today. As you are all aware, ladies and gentlemen, with the increasing globalization of markets, international standards have become critical to the trading process. Therefore, in ensuring a level playing field for exports, as well as ensuring that imports meet the internationally recognized levels of performance and safety, the Ministry is promoting adherence to standards.
The United States believes collaboration between the business community and government adds real value to the private sector, and we encourage sustained dialogue and interaction between entrepreneurs and the government. We are pleased to host this event tonight and to continue to work with our guest of honor, Minister Aluma, and his many counterparts and other officials in the Zambian government, along with all of you, to achieve our common goal in this country, which is the creation of a robust economy driven by private sector activity.
2018 was an intense year for us and has seen the chamber repositioning itself, like I've said, to accommodate changes and give greater values to our members. As a membership organization, it is imperative that the value proposition stays true to our members. We have been very focused around advocacy, around networking, which I've seen quite a lot of it happening here this evening.
The government has suspended the importation of all live animals, livestock products and all feed imports into the country. Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock Permanent Secretary David Shamlenge has also announced that all permits issued have since been revoked. Chansakunda has details in this report.
Zambia's main imports are fuel, machinery and foodstuffs. Imported food products consists of animals and livestock products. And today, government has suspended the importation of all live animals, livestock products and all feed imports into the country following the issuance of the statement. Importers of livestock and livestock products who are mainly retail, chain stores and various butcheries are expected to comply with the suspension. The Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock says it will no longer issue import and in-transit permits for any animals, livestock products and daily foods such as fish, dairy products and biologicals, among others. Other products that are on the list are assorted feed inputs from neighboring countries. And to this effect, the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries has revoked all permits that were issued, saying it will hold a consultative stakeholder meeting before the suspension is lifted. Chansakunda, ZNBC News in Lusaka.
And finally, on our business news, a team of Chinese investors have expressed interest to invest in mining and meat processing in Southern Province. The Chinese delegation led by Yu Yingfeng, who is the president of Ningeng Chao Company Limited, has also promised to attend the Southern Province Tourism and Investment Exposition slated for September this year.
To see that how would investment opportunities lies in the Southern Province and what we can do based on these investment opportunities.
We are aware that the Chinese have the technology for such mining, and we are very happy to see you here. The raw materials are there for production of beef and packaging it. You can open up a packaging facility, and then also if you want, we can open up a tannery for processing the animal skins into leather products like shoes, belts, bags.
About 25% of the province total surface area has been covered by mining rights so far. The total surface area that these mining licenses are taking up is 2,254,297 hectares.
Well, we end the business news. Thank you so much for watching. Join us for another bulletin on Wednesday. Thanks for watching.
And our sports news in detail. The 2019 pool season is set to kick off on June 8, 2019. Zambia Pool Union ZPU President Matthew Ngulube says for the first time the country will have 3 leagues. He was speaking in an interview with ZNBC Sports.
The ones that have actually been operating in Lusaka province, those are still there. But when we talk about all the 20 teams coming from Central Province that are playing in the league, those are new teams which you've never heard about. And Copper Belt already has a number of teams that are actually running. There's Ndola, there's Luansha and Kitwe, and we hope to make sure that we get more teams in those towns so that at least we form a very formidable league on the Copper Belt as well. We're actually already planning for the Africa Cup, which is taking place in October in Mpumalanga, South Africa, and we've already started putting logistics in place.
Zambia has been crowned winner of the 2019 Polo Cross Annette Miller Cup competition. This is after Zambia beat South Africa in the competition. The Zambian team, Stanchart Yellow, beat South Africa in the invitational game during the final of the international division played over 5 chukas. Let's see more in this report by Chansakunda.
It was a heated and tightly contested 3-day tournament. The 2019 Polo Annette Miller Cup competition saw 3 Zambian teams take on the South Africa Invitational team in a round robin of the international division. 5 clubs also convened at the Lilai Polo Club in the local division. And Lilai Polo Club chairman Ian Miller praised all the teams for taking part in the competition and called on more Zambians to join the sport.
We would love to see more indigenous players playing. But not many Zambians ride horses, but we're always here ready to welcome anybody who wants to play.
In the finals, it was the home side represented by the Stanchart White team that beat the visiting side. And the South Africa Invitational team captain Guy Williamson said he is impressed that polo cross is growing in Zambia.
Well, it's always an honor to come here. We were very fortunate to be given very good horses. And, we've long friends. We've been playing here for many years.
And polo player Bayo Akakinde Inde has urged more Zambians, especially the youths, to take up the sport.
More players, more interest. The more players, the better. And that's how you build a decent pool of polo players.
Sponsors of the 2019 showpiece, Standard Chartered Bank, said they will continue supporting various minor sports in the country.
We've supported similar events in the past, such as last year the Pink Ladies Polo Tournament, and we are committed to sport.
The Annette Miller Cup competition is an annual competition which has featured nations like Ireland and the United States of America, among others, for 10 years now. Chan Sakunda, ZNBC Sports, Lusaka.
Well done to Team Zambia. Well, that is all the sports we had for you on this segment. Thank you so much for watching. To end the news, we recap on the top stories. Government has banned local and international trips for permanent secretaries and directors for 90 days. President Edgar Lungu has left for the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Finance Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe says government is yet to decide on whether sales tax should be charged on fuel or energy in general. And in sports, the 2019 pool season is set to kick off on June 8, 2019. We end the news. Our next news broadcast will be at 22 hours. My name is Chiwanza Nachalwe, and on sign language we had Isabel Banda. Remember, Zambia is bigger than me. Good night.